Over the decades, Nigeria has experienced strong economic growth. At the same time, poverty rate has risen as figures from the National Bureau of Statistics show that the population rose from 17.1 million people in 1980 to about 112.47 million in 2010. This is a significant challenge for the country's development. This week's edition of the program looks at the federal government's social protection program. Hello there. Thank you for joining me on the program this week. I'm Gloria Umezuike. According to the World Bank, Nigeria's poverty rate remained very high at more than 60% of the population, a major challenge for development. Now, social protection is considered a policy tool to address the challenges associated with poverty and social inequality. However, Nigeria has fallen short in her policies to address the needs of the poor. Now, my guest is the Minister of State for Budget and National Planning. She'll be talking about the government's social protection program in the interview. Coming up next. The federal government is targeting 8.4 million Nigerians in her social protection programs. Take a listen. Poverty in Nigeria has been a problem for more than 50% of the population in the past 10 years, as the World Bank figures show that the number of poor people have risen above 100 million Nigerians. Several governments have expressed commitment to address the plight of the poor in the society through a social intervention program. The administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is not left out in designing a social protection plan. This meeting is putting a final touch on the framework for the policy that the government is hoping to use to reduce poverty and inequality.
A social investment office has been set up under the Office of the Vice President in order to ensure effective monitoring and evaluation, to standardize delivery mechanisms to avoid duplication of roles and responsibilities, and to ensure proper coordination and synergy amongst the key ministries and also amongst the states. We're leveraging on this policy framework that is in the offing to fulfill our social protection role to citizens relating to poverty, to inequality, to health issues, unemployment, social exclusion, insecurity, and so on and so forth. So we hope to coordinate and develop sustainable and transparent delivery mechanisms.
The federal government has budgeted 500 billion naira for the social protection programs in the 2016 budget. It plans to do this by making interventions in job creation, school feeding, conditional cash transfers, enterprise promotion, and giving priority to science education. The target is to develop a policy that is comprehensive and all-inclusive.
The current administration's social intervention program has kick-started the policy even before it is approved. It has been work in progress for over 10 years now, and I'm glad now it is coming to fruition. We hope to take the policy to the Federal Executive Council for approval.
Nigeria should expect a very coordinated program. They should expect a very coordinated effort both at federal and at state level, to which development partners are committed, that will begin to bring succor to the poor, that will also ensure social inclusion and will help to improve the welfare of the downtrodden and people that are affected in Nigeria.
The government is hoping to reach at least 8.4 million Nigerians who will benefit from the intervention project, which is clearly intended to restore livelihoods, economic opportunities, and sustenance for the poor. Nigeria has a social protection policy that is supposed to address a whole lot of issues, including poverty, healthcare, and by extension, insurgency. I had a discussion with Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, who tells me all about the 500 billion naira set aside in the budget for this to be achieved. Listen to our conversation. Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Give us an insight into the federal government's social protection policy.
Well, the National Social Protection Policy has the two key aspirations of developing a framework for social protection and also ensuring that expenditure is adequately provided for social protection. That is the key context within which this policy was formed. But it was also formed against the backdrop of the provisions of the 1999 Constitution as amended, that is to provide that the government has the responsibility to secure maximum welfare, freedom and happiness for every citizen of the country, and also to provide suitable and adequate shelter for the citizens, and to ensure that there's provision for adequate public assistance for people that are in need.
So is there a policy in place right now?
Right now what we have is a policy that is in the final stages of making. It has been ongoing for almost up to about 10 years, unfortunately. But now we are at the point where we have just one more stakeholder engagement to conduct, after which the policy document now goes to the Federal Executive Council for approval, and then implementation can become full-blown. But the social protection program of the current federal government, which was adequately provided for in the 2016 budget, is falling from this policy document even when it was at a draft stage. So one can say that the policy has already gone into implementation even before it is approved. The social protection program policy envisages interventions in 5 major policy areas. First of all, there is the preventive aspect, and the preventive aspect provides for initiatives like cash transfers and school fee waivers and school feeding programs. Then there is the protective aspect, which envisages programs like social welfare schemes that will be that is preventive in nature, so that people are adequately covered, and other similar schemes that would be preventive in nature. There's also the protective program, which is aimed at protecting people that are weak and vulnerable. And then there's the transformative program, which is the transformative policy, which is aimed at ensuring that the social protection policy is entrenched and become institutionalized into our governance processes.
So I'm asking, which component is being implemented right now?
Oh, almost, it's like cross-cutting, most of it, except for the long-term one, which is preventive. Some of the provisions that have been made right now in the 2016 budget, for example, the conditional cash transfers, are protective in nature. And the preventive measures, such as the social health insurance scheme, have not yet started, but there's work going on to design how that will work. The promotive ones, such as public works, employment schemes, schemes in agriculture where farming implements and subsidies are provided, they are also ongoing. Then there's the transformative ones, which is developing core social programs that become institutionalized. So the school feeding program is also a protective program. It helps to ensure that children at the primary school level are well nourished and that they grow up without any nutritional deficiencies, so that they have very high cognitive functions and they are healthier.